and welcome to Charts and Hearts. I'm Sarah, and she's Lindsay.
And together we're working our way through an epic list of rom-coms in order to find and categorize tropes in the hopes of creating the nerdiest spreadsheet podcasts I've ever seen.
And today we're in, I guess, part 2 of our First Daughter Chasing Liberty two-parter. This is First Daughter.
Also from 2004.
2004. This is the Katie Holmes, Mark Blucas one.
Yes, with Michael Keaton. He's there. He's Batman.
And directed by Forrest Whitaker? I don't understand.
Me either. It's so weird.
Very strange.
This is a weird movie, regardless of the fact that it's a twin film and has almost the exact same plot. Like, not actual plot, but, like, scaffolding of a plot is weird. And we'll talk a little bit more about twin films, but, like, this one is, like, she goes to school and has too many bodyguards and then befriends a man who then is secretly a bodyguard.
Yeah.
And then gets mad, but then they make up at the end, but maybe don't get together. It's confusing.
Yeah, this one's less good.
Yes, much.
Much less good. It's less funny. She's much more, like, serious and less charming than Mandy Moore's character. And
the side characters are less funny.
The side characters are kind of annoying, whereas the side characters in Chasing Liberty are kind of fun.
Also, this one, like, really needed some editing, which, like, it's weird because they had so many weird, like, transitions. So they, like, were paying attention to, like, fancy editing in that kind of way. But then there's, like, a 15-minute scene of, like, her parents dropping her off at school. Then they, like, go up to her dorm with her. They talk about stuff. And then they all go back down and say goodbye in front of the press for, like, 5 more minutes. And I'm just...
Yeah, it needed, like, structural editing, not, like, movie editing.
There was a point when I paused it and I was like, it's only been 19 minutes of this movie? What the hell?
Yeah, there's not really much plot in this movie. So, yeah, I can do a little plot summary, I guess. So, yeah, so Katie Holmes is First Daughter. She's very, like, super involved in the campaign and, like, doing political things. Like, it's kind of weird. And her dad's running for re-election and she's starting college. And so she goes to college and she has a roommate who's been, like, handpicked for her because, like, I don't know, for, like, security and also political reasons. And, so, like, she, you know, kind of reluctantly becomes friends with her college roommate, and they, like, start doing the normal college things, and she's, you know, chafing at having the extra Secret Service, and it's annoying for her friend. Like, they go to a pool party, and a guy's running around with a water gun that is, like, way too realistic. It's like, why wouldn't they have caught that sooner? And, like, you know, she gets all embarrassed because they have to, like, you know, throw the guy on the ground even though it's a water pistol. And then, so yeah, she's like, her roommate's mad at her for, you know, taking away, like, being the center of attention, basically, which is annoying that her roommate gets mad at her for something she can't control. And then she, like, befriends her RA, like, her RA, the guy who, you know, looks after stuff on their floor, and that's Mark Blucas, and they sort of become friends. They go off and do activities, and she, like, takes refuge in his room, and he makes her a disguise, and then they go out, and it's very flirty, but, like, nothing really happens quite yet, and then they go on, like, another night out, and she kisses him, which I think it is important to remember that she, like, he doesn't do anything. She kisses him, and then some other, like, whatever stuff happens. Like, she doesn't really get along. She continues to not get along with her roommate because her roommate is jealous, and the Secret Service stuff is, like, inconvenient. And then I forget why, like, how she finds out.
They're at a fancy ball.
Oh,
and
right.
Then they're, like, going into their limo, and somebody, like, I guess tries to crash into the limo. It's never, like, followed up on, and if it's deliberate or if it was just a car accident. That, although,
so to try
also,
to,
like, from everything I've learned from West Wing, why isn't the street closed? But whatever.
Well, and yeah, so it's, like, to try to make amends with her roommate, and then also to, like, impress this guy that she's into, she, like, takes them on this, like, splurgy. They take Air Force One, which, like, is not a private plane. It's, like, for government travel. And then they, like, go to a big fancy, I don't know, like, West Wing
party
ball thing where they're all in, like, fancy clothes, and so then they're in the limo, and then she finds out that the guy that she thought she was, like, kind of dating is a Secret Service agent who was placed there to keep her safe. And she gets super mad, obviously. And then he gets in trouble because, like, it becomes clear that they were dating-ish, which is obviously a huge security liability. And then he, like, goes in front of a hearing and it's super boring and they get mad at him and basically fire him. But then it's the Christmas ball thing. And so, like, her dad wins her election, but it's not... I thought it was the inauguration, but then there were still Christmas decorations, so it's just
yeah,
like
so I think it's just a Christmas party.
And yeah, so she's dropped out of college, and then he's there back as a Secret Service agent.
Yep,
but
for
not
the
protecting
president?
her, but for the president. So, like, he got a promotion for doing something that's, like, super not allowed to do, and then they have a, like, kind of dreamy dance, and it's, like, almost good, but you're like, what's going on? And then she gets, like, her dream at the end, which is, like, just being able to drive herself in a, like, old car off to college rather than, like, a whole state affair.
Yeah.
And it's unclear if they're together at the end, but I don't think
yeah, because then the other guy's like, she'll be back for spring break, and he's like, oh, which doesn't make any sense. And also, why is she driving away at nighttime at Christmas back to school? And
also, like,
so many
don't
other
drive
things.
A Beetle across the country from DC to California in the snow by yourself.
Yeah. Like, it's so confusing. The one
so
thing that
kind of...
Yeah, the gestures. Yeah, the one thing that you did miss, which we'll talk about with Lucas, is she finds out he's a Secret Service agent. They have already kissed and done, like, the swoony dance.
Yeah,
and then he keeps being on her, like, he keeps being her agent.
Yeah,
which is so inappropriate, and just like, and then at one point he goes on the trial after this because at one point he, like, grabs her and he's like, you have to stop doing this, I love you, or something. I can't remember what it is, but it's super inappropriate. He just, like, pulls her away from people and is like, oh no, it's when she gets drunk and he punches the guy and then takes her away. Yeah, and then so, like, she gets drunk at a party and she's trying to make him jealous, and that works, basically.
And it works, and she's, like, so drunk that she's dancing on the table and it gets in the newspaper and stuff. Yeah, that's the biggest thing about this one, which is weird, is that they're, like, again, when she talked about in Chasing Liberty, there's not really paparazzi, like, she's running away from her agents, not really, journalists never find her. But in this one, the paparazzi is, like, obsessed with her. Everyone at school is obsessed with her, and all the paparazzi are obsessed with her, and like, they're walking somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden there's, like, 20 paparazzi, like, not in a place that you would expect there to be paparazzi, and they're all of a sudden chasing them. It's like, and she's like, she's not doing anything, she just is existing, and, like, nobody else is there. It's like, paparazzi aren't just everywhere. It's very strange. And there's, like, this whole thing of, like, she's trying, they take a picture of her after they're in, like, a slip and slide where she's, like, accidentally pulls down half of her friend's pants, and, like, her friend is wearing a thong, and it's, like, on the cover of the newspaper, and everyone's like, I can't believe you did this. I'm like, what did she do? Yeah, she didn't do anything. She was just, like, she's fully sober. She went to a party at school that was literally outside sliding in water down a hill. Like, and that was it. And it's so weird. Like, the dancing on the table, people are like, oh my god, it's so horrible, which, like, okay, fine. But that at least was more believable. But yeah, there's so much, like, hand-wringing about the paparazzi and the press and blah 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 because her dad's running for re-election, and it's like, I'm sure that's real, but also if you just, like, had protected her from the paparazzi rather than having her not do anything, maybe that would be a better solution. Yeah, it's very strange. The other thing that's weird in this one, as opposed to, again, all of our references, West Wing, but also Chasing Liberty, is that they're never in plainclothes, which is not how Secret Service agents work, ever. Yeah, they're only in suits, like, very obvious, except for, I guess, Mark Lucas. Yeah, so they're always in, like, there's 2 agents outside of her door wearing suits at all times. I'm like, that seems... whereas, like, at least in West Wing, which I would trust that is a little more realistic, is they're plainclothes and they just have, like, 2 rooms on the same floor as her. And, like, obviously, like, you know, like, people have been cleared who are on that floor and all of that stuff. Yeah. Like, there's obviously security checks everywhere, but yeah, it's very strange. Like, when she's in class, they sort of, like, sit all around her so that nobody can sit close to her, and it's like, way to like make somebody stick out like a sore thumb. Like if
Yeah.
you're trying to protect somebody, one part of that
You're
is
doing it worse than, yeah.
like not drawing attention to them. It's very strange. Okay,
Yeah.
do you want to talk about twin films?
Yeah, so I found this one because I was Googling when we were getting prepared for these, because I was like, how did this happen? Like, obviously we know that these kinds of films exist. Like, we'll talk about No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits. You know, we were all there for Armageddon and Deep Impact and all of those kinds of things. But these ones are the same plot. And I didn't realize that when I was watching First Daughter. I thought he was going to be the son of, like, her dad's opponent or something. Like, there was obviously something going on, but I was not prepared for it to be the exact same. So the thing with this one that's extra weird is that, okay, Forrest Whitaker directed it, and that's the thing, but Jerry O'Connell, Jerry O'Connell, wrote this script in 1996. Yep, he's an executive producer on this film.
So weird.
So he wrote this script in 96, or something similar to this script, like a screenplay idea for this.
Right.
Which obviously, again, like, both based on Chelsea Clinton, both are like obsessed with first family royalty and blah de blah. Mm-hmm. But so that one existed, but he couldn't get it made. He wanted to be in it, all of this stuff. And then somehow it got made at the same time. And then there's nowhere on here about how they're the exact same plot. It's just that they were both like, Chelsea Clinton existed, and so we both wanted to make, so 2 movies happened. But nothing about how the bodyguard, like, Chelsea Clinton did not fall in love with a secret bodyguard man, unless she did and I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure I would have heard about that.
Noticed that. And I think, I didn't realize, like, the time delay, but yeah, Jerry O'Connell writing it in the mid-90s makes more sense, of, like, him writing it as, like, a thing for him to star in, and then it just never got made.
Yeah, and so, like, obviously he shopped it around, and I guess that meant somebody else was like, I'll write this too?
I guess so.
I don't know. I guess so.
But they don't talk about it, but it's the First Daughter, which is the one that he wrote, like, you don't find out that the guy is a Secret Service agent until, like, at least 2/3 of the way through the movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he's just a guy. Which is also why I thought he was just going to be a guy. And either be a secret son of the bad guy or be the one who saves her from her famousness. You know, like some that kind of trope. So the secret bodyguard trope thing is really what's throwing me off with these two, because I'm just like, I don't know why. Yeah, it's like somebody must have read the script and then just straight up copied it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, I think my biggest thing with this is, like, you sit through this movie that's kind of blah, and, like, the two of them do have good chemistry, but then the end is just so blah.
I know. It's like he gets inappropriate, which is inappropriate, but then also makes me more frustrated because then it's just Riley. And then I'm like, you were so attractive, Mark Lucas. You weren't being Riley, but I was super into you. And then you just, like, go all full Riley on me.
It's
and I'm
like
I don't want to deal with Riley anymore. God, Rick, we stopped this. And he's just like, it's bad. And then her dad, I guess, saves the day because all he ever wants is to be the Secret Service agent for the president. But I'm like, no head Secret Service man is going to say that that's a good idea. I don't know how he got a job again, but also, like, working with her again. That's so inappropriate. And just, like, she has 2 agents with her. There's no way that they didn't fill out reports about how these 2 were falling in love. And then the end is just, like, nothing.
Yeah, it's just unsatisfying because it, like, all the stuff that you're frustrated about, you're still frustrated about. Mm-hmm. And I guess another interesting thing Lindsay asked here, why is she framed as a princess? And I think she's like that perfect daughter, and the way that she works is definitely more princess-like than, like, daughter of a president. Like, it's very much like working royal style. Yeah, and that's that she does, which is weird.
It's a weird thing. Like, she's, like, involved. People are asking her policy questions. Yeah. Which, like, sure, again, I don't follow First Daughter publicity, but I don't believe that that's really a thing. It's, like, especially if the paparazzi Yeah, the paparazzi are like super excited about getting a photo of her eating pizza, and then the journalists are like, "How do you feel about your dad's domestic agenda?" I'm like, they don't know what to do with her. Like, they don't know how the public is seeing her. They think that she is the president. I don't. It's very weird.
It's super strange.
And I just realized thinking about this because Chasing Liberty is very obviously Roman Holiday-esque, but then this movie, again, twin film-ness, is she's framed as a princess way more than Mandy Moore was.
Yeah.
And they don't get together at the end. So, like, is this also Roman Holiday? Like,
yeah, it's like the other half of Roman Holiday.
The other half of Roman Holiday with the shitty half? Like,
yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. It's so weird, and I'm very frustrated by this movie.
Okay, should we talk about tropes?
Yes, I just want to say, though, whoever made this Wikipedia page of twin films, it's fascinating, but Great Mouse Detective and American Tail are not twin films. They're just animated movies about mice. They are not the same at all. No. So please take those off the list. Also, I want to watch Great Mouse Detective. Anyway.
Oh, always. Yeah, like some of them are definitely when it's like, you know, two movies about the same, like two biopics about the same person or whatever, or like a biopic and a like fictional slightly based on.
Well, I forgot about White House Down, and then the other one that was also White House Down came out at the same time. A very similar situation to this, but so there are obvious ones that have different plots with the same structure, but this one is...
Yeah, or like in 2008, 2 adaptations of Journey to the Center of the Earth were made.
Yeah, came out, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So strange. Okay, tropes. I guess first up we've got a giant dorm room. It's like...
Oh my gosh.
The size of my 1-bedroom apartment.
Like, she has, at one point, she sits up out of bed and she has like a half divider wall.
Yeah.
That their phone is resting on. And then her friend is eating breakfast in like the breakfast nook. Like, it's an apartment, basically.
Yeah, it's massive.
We have the roommate who is a sassy black friend who does the things that sassy black friends do, I guess, in movies in 2004.
Yeah. She wears the boy's hoodie and then she gives a little smell and you're like, yep, I feel you, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Running from the paparazzi montage. This is less like a twin film. They do a lot of running in Chasing Liberty, but this is more Roman Holiday or
specifically paparazzi.
Any kind of Christmas Prince movie kind of thing, you know, hiding from paparazzi and falling in love at the same time kind of deal.
And then they end up in a movie theater watching a random old movie that I forget which one it is. But...
Me too. It was not something that I'm super familiar with, but...
It wasn't Roman Holiday.
Yeah, so that would have been a little too on the nose.
Yeah, too much.
Then they go out, this is a different time, not the old movie time, but a different time they go escaping, and they end up in a rowboat, and she has a parasol, and he is fishing, and I'm like, what? Where are they? This is so strange. I don't understand. Nothing comes of it. It's just one scene of them in a rowboat talking. And I'm like, you could have done that at a pizza place or just walking. Like, it's really weird. But I guess romantic rowboat while holding a parasol is very trippy.
Agreed. He like reaches his arms around her to help her with something.
Win a carnival game.
Oh, yeah, like teaching her how to do the carnival game. Because she's like so determined that she won't, like, she wants to win it for herself, not take the stuffy that he won for her. Yeah.
Because that's her personality, I guess. Sure.
It's a personality trait that they make her whole personality. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then they're also at a carnival. All these carnivals in movies and TV shows that are way more fun looking than I've ever experienced. But
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's random dancing. So yeah, they dance at the beginning-ish.
Yeah, at the fancy party.
And then at the fancy party.
And then
they dance at the Christmas party.
And this is another princess thing of like, it's a black tie White House party, but she's like wearing full on ball gowns, and like the next trope is a cameo of Vera Wang. But, and like obviously Vera Wang, like people wear Vera Wang in West Wing, which is the thing that we know, but it's just like she is full on princess. She's wearing a tiara in one of them at the balls, and I'm like, what do you think this is? Like,
Yeah, it's not her prom.
it's not her prom. It's not a royal ball. It's a White House Christmas party. Why are you
And
wearing a tiara?
It's not a party for her either.
No.
Like, it's nothing to do with her. She's just there.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we've got a couple cameos. There's Vera Wang, there's Jay Leno.
Which is the thing which we haven't really talked about, Jay Leno cameos, similar to Alex Trebek, of how often they're in movies and then they like have to do like fake monologues like Jay Leno does, or Alex has to make up fake questions about fake celebrities in movies. And it's just such an interesting thing I didn't think about until now, of like, when did Jay do that? Was it like with a live audience and they're like, we're gonna film this fake movie now, kind of thing? Like,
obviously on like his set, I would guess so, that they just like hire an audience of extras
to do it,
to come in like on an off day or in the morning or whatever.
It's such an interesting thing that, thinking about Castle for Christmas or whatever that movie's actually called, when she goes on the Drew Barrymore show and like it's an actual show, like how do they set that up and how do they write that? Like, who writes it? Is it the movie writers or the especially when it's like Jay Leno, who's like, so it's an interesting thing, like, like Jay Leno's on West Wing talking about Bartlett. Like, how did they set that up? I really want to, like, he's in West Wing, but they also show him like doing Bartlett,
just, like,
talking
like
about
fake Jay Leno show.
And I'm like, how does that work? Like, that's an article I'd like to read. If anybody knows, let us know.
Sign me up. Back to the black roommate friend who only hooks up with black people. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty normal for early 2000s.
Yeah. Then our newest trope, the bodyguard Carrie. When the car crash happens, she falls down, I don't know, and he scoops her up in the bodyguard lift, and I guess because that's his job, is to carry her away, but it's just like, okay, here we go again.
2 for 2 plus our
2 for 2
knowledge of the bodyguard.
3 for
3.
Yeah.
I guess, we might as well start the trope list of twin films, because here we go.
And a random voiceover who is not Michael Keaton. I was going to look it up. Somebody who sounds super familiar, but it wasn't Michael Keaton, like, as her dad. It was, unless it was, and he sounded weird, but... I
think it was him. I don't know who, like, it's not in the...
Credits? Okay, so maybe it was.
Well,
but again,
let me look.
This is framed as the beginning and the end is a fairy tale. Like, there was once a little girl who did all this stuff, and then she, like, weird...
it's Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, okay. The, like, animation of the beginning, like, she, like, literally is kissing a frog. At the end is she lived happily ever after. Like, this is a princess story for reasons.
I think it's that whole, like, American princess thing, and that was the whole thing with, like, the Clintons was, like, the young, like, fun family, and, like, the young daughter, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. It was weird.
That turned out great.
Yeah, that went real well.
Okay, Linz, does this movie pass the Bechdel test?
Again, technical pass. I'll give it a higher pass than Chasing Liberty, because she does have a friend in this movie. But again, her friend spends most of the movie mad at her because she's jealous of how much attention she's getting, even though she has no control over it.
It is nice to see that they have, like, conflict and it's not about boys.
Yes, that part's nice.
Center of attention and jealousy and stuff, not about, like, her. She doesn't want to date Mark Lucas.
No. Yeah. But then they also don't make up. Like, they make up, but they don't talk about it. They just are together and hug, and they're like, the end. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't solve the problem, like, on either side, and I don't know. I don't know.
It's very strange. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay. Shall we make a pie?
Yes.
Okay. Mark Lucas being much more attractive than he is as Riley in Buffy.
I know. He's, like, got all the good parts of Riley with the one backpack strap, and he's just, like, all charming Iowa, and I'm like, yeah. And also, I can't stop thinking about how tall he is.
So tall.
That's also a thing.
Yeah. Maybe 20%?
Yeah. College tropes. there's a lot of her discovering life as a freshman. There's a frat party, and then there's this weird slip and slide thing, which I don't think is a real trope. It's just like a kooky freshman adventure.
I think so. Yeah, and there's like dorm rooms and homework and
pretentious English professors. Yeah.
Yeah, all the college tropes. All here. Just like in the other one, we've got rich white girl privilege.
Oh, what do you know?
Shocking.
She's less whiny. Yeah, 20 is good. Like I was gonna say, she's less whiny, but she also takes the Air Force One to fly her friends to DC to get outfits from Vera Wang, like actual herself Vera Wang, to go to a party, which I'm pretty sure is an election party, so that's like extra sketchy. She doesn't. She's not whiny about the privilege. But she takes more advantage of it. So it's just different. Yeah. And what does that leave us with?
10.
10% for preppy clothes. Oh my goodness, is Katie Holmes preppy in this movie? Yeah,
she wears exclusively, other than like when she's intentionally not, like button-up shirts, sweater vests, khakis, blazers. Yeah,
she wears like a little dress with a tiny cardigan when they go in the parasol rowboat. Yeah. There is amazing 2000s fashion in this. Like the sassy black friend has a kerchief on her head all the time. Mark Lucas wears a long sleeve under a short sleeve shirt. So good. But yeah,
when you come of age in that, you're like, hi.
Yeah. Really does it for me.
Okay, and then what's next for them?
Like, the movie doesn't know, so how could I decide?
Well, I don't think they do get together in the movie. I mean, they like still are flirty with each other at the end, but like they're not together. And I hope that stays that way. And
I hope it stays that way.
He's like one misstep away from losing his job again.
I know, and I'm just like, don't old first ladies have to have Secret Service? Isn't that what driving Tess is all about? Why can't he go take care of Hillary?
Yeah, like some like old first lady or a retired president or something. Yeah, like that's definitely what would have happened if they. What would have happened if?
Yeah, and I'm just like, that's where I don't want to diminish these people's jobs, but I feel like in movies that's where they would go, is having to, you know, look after an old lady with her cats.
Somewhere that he wouldn't be
anywhere near her,
anything around her.
Because or the press, because it does get out that they're dating to the press because they're obsessed with her. And so it's just like the press is obsessed with this bodyguard, so they put him on the president's line. Like it just seems so unsafe, and it just.
I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to dance at the ball when you're there as
an agent.
Secret Service. Yeah,
even when the president is Batman, it's still not safe.
Still not allowed. Okay, and then Lindsay, what's next for us?
Okay, moving into a much better movie month. We're doing Sandra Bullock month for November. We've got Proposal first up, 2 weeks notice, which I think I've only seen once.
Oh,
and
really?
I think so. It just didn't, I don't know. I don't remember being a huge fan of it. I think I was too into Notting Hill. Anyway.
Fair enough.
And then on the Patreon, we're doing Lost City, which is an amazing movie that I love. So I'm excited.
And if you didn't catch it, our Patreon this month, which has nothing to do with these movies, other than Stalker Channing is in it, and she was also in The West Wing, blah, 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 is Practical Magic.
Also starring Sandra Bullock, but...
Because we're great at scheduling things. Yeah, but mostly
spooky time.
Spooky. Okay, that brings us to the end of our episode. You can leave us a rating or a review wherever you get your podcasts, or you can find us on social media. We're at Charts and Hearts Podcast on Instagram and Threads, and at Charts and Hearts on Twitter.
Or you can head to our website, chartsandhearts.com, where you can submit your suggestions for rom-coms and tropes for us to add to the list. If you have other rom-com twin films, let us know. And also what your favorite twin films are. And if you say Great Mouse Detective and American Tail, I will be mad at you, because I'm still mad about that. Who put that on there? Anyway. And you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/chartsandheartsclub. Fun spooky time this month, and we've got lots of other great episodes on there as well.
Oh my god, so many ridiculous things. We would love to know your thoughts about this movie. Which one's your favorite?
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I loved who I got to be with him.
Oh.